Hey guys, can anyone hear me? Here we go. Can you guys see me well? Hey guys, good evening. Thank you very much for everyone who has been waiting for me for the past hour. I'm glad you've joined me in tonight's live stream. In the beginning of this live stream, I'm going to delve into the topic straight away. And in the end, I'm going to leave space for all of your questions and clarifications regarding the matter. So, today, just after 4 p.m. Beirut time, Israel assassinated Saleh al-Aruri, who is the deputy leader of the political bureau of Hamas. They targeted a flat in the Dahia al-Janubiyya, the southern suburb of Beirut, which is well known to be a Hezbollah hub. They killed him alongside 3 other Hamas members. Apparently, 2 of them were leading figures in Al-Qassam brigades who are very active in Beirut. They also killed 2 civilians, 2 bystanders, by standards basically. They had 2 attacks. One of them was on a flat in the southern suburb of Beirut, and the other one was apparently on a car. And there were 10 further injured civilians, according to multiple reports. Now, the Red Cross was there, and also Hezbollah's health department. They have a special health department in their areas that they control, basically. Now, who is Saleh al-Aruri? Firstly, he is one of the leading figures in Hamas who deal with the foreign side of things, international relations. He used to focus on the West Bank, but many people also say that he has direct connections with Gaza too, with regards to Al-Qassam brigades and Hamas's international relations. He used to reside in Turkey previously, in Qatar temporarily, Malaysia as well, and he ended up being in Lebanon. Now, before I got the news about Saleh al-Aruri, I prepared a video for you regarding the legal war that's happening in Israel. And it's important to put everything into context. Now, with regards to the assassination itself, this was most likely carried out by the Mossad. It was authorized by Mossad. And Mossad is directly linked to the Prime Minister's office. So they don't go through the army. They obviously have joint actions together, but they belong to Netanyahu directly. So what happened yesterday? Yesterday, for the first time in history, the Supreme Court in Israel cancelled the request of the government to remove the reasonableness clause and amend the judicial system in Israel. Very small minority, 8 versus 7. The government basically wanted to control the judicial system and didn't want to give the judicial system and the High Court any powers to override any government actions. Now, you need to understand very well, this is what caused many Israelis to revolt for the past 1.5 years. And if the High Court did this on the 6th of October, you would have seen a civil war in Israel. We would have a civil war in Israel if this happened on the 6th of October. This was a very timed and coordinated attack legally against Benjamin Netanyahu because they want to get rid of him as soon as possible. It came simultaneously with another massive lawsuit private, not state lawsuit for 42 families of victims who were at the festival, blaming Israeli security forces, the IDF, the Shin Bet, and the Shabak, for allowing the massacre to happen on the 7th of October. They stated many things like, you had prior knowledge, many people gave you notice, the night before you knew, okay, two major lawyers in Israel are taking it on behalf of these families, and this is not conclusive. This is not like the main one. There's going to be a main one later on, and it also doesn't relate to the IDF's fault when it comes to the actual day, like the massacres in the festival, them shooting down at them in the Apache, the tanks shooting at civilians in Be'eri, and all of the other things that came along with from the Israeli witness statements and what we've heard from the ground. This is only related to them not preventing it, not just participating in it. Apparently, these 42 families, they're asking Israel for a compensation worth 200 million shekels, which is approximately $50-60 million. So these two are coordinated because Netanyahu, he is continuing the war for his own sake, not for the sake of the state of Israel. He's not listening to America. He's not bowing down to the international pressure. He's not speaking with the military leadership properly. Some of them are refusing to see him. Everyone is sick of him. In the military leadership, in the political leadership, in Israel, and across the world. In Israel, people who want the war are complaining against him because he's not going all out, because he can't. And you have the other side who wants him to stop the war and bring the hostages back and finally get a political solution with the Palestinian people. The international community is sick of him. What does he do? He has a major event to divert all of the attention, drag everyone back into it, and potentially he can have a small sign of trophy to completely climb down the ladder, which isn't very probable in my opinion. Because from what we've seen so far, the guy wants to drag it as much as possible. He wants America in, he wants an all-out war, he wants to drag everyone in this war. And it won't go without response, I'm telling you from now. The assassination of Saleh al-Aruri, such a leading figure in Hamas, regardless of it being in Lebanon, won't go without a response. Because if it goes without a response, it sends a message to Israel that you can kill our leaders abroad and we won't do anything about it. So there will be a retaliation. The question is how and when. Saleh al-Aruri, this specific leader, was supposed to see Hassan Nasrallah, the Secretary General of Hezbollah. He's in constant communication with him, very regularly. He was supposed to meet him tomorrow, and Nasrallah is due to give a speech tomorrow. He was supposed to speak with him before the speech. And Nasrallah's speech is still due for tomorrow. Remember that. It might be a case of everyone waiting for Nasrallah's speech to see what the level of response is. And obviously you need coordination with Iran and the Yemenis and everyone, because this is a very significant escalation, right? And the Israelis, yet, until now, they haven't taken any responsibility. Netanyahu authorized everyone in his cabinet not to talk about the subject. The only thing we heard is the following. They gave a statement saying, the people who were targeted, not from us, the people who were targeted, aka Saleh al-Aruri, they are neither Lebanese nor from Hezbollah. As if to send a message to Lebanon that we're not attacking you. We don't want an escalation with you. Najib Mikati, the Lebanese prime minister, he said that Israel wants to drag Lebanon into a second stage. So far from the Lebanese government, who's obviously different than Hezbollah, right? Hezbollah has a massive say in what happens in Lebanon. The Lebanese government is leaving it in the hands of Hezbollah. Hezbollah's playing it really cleverly. A slight escalation with Israel, not going all out, underlying rules of conflict, underlying understanding between them and Israel. You attack us on the borders, we attack you on your borders. You go 5 miles, we go 5 miles. They're still sucking up energy and resources from the IDF. And they haven't gone all out. We've seen some escalations, but it hasn't gone all out. But this is in the heart of Lebanon. Heart of Lebanon, Beirut, الضاحية الجنوبية, the stronghold of Hezbollah, right? Now, many people are saying, was there an infiltration? Was there some sort of security problem or whatever? This is most likely technological spying. They probably monitored a certain device because the UAV was directed and it had the ability to launch missiles, but it's still not known if the UAV itself exploded as well, or if it was just a guided UAV. It's likely that it exploded because there was a big explosion in the apartment and there was a lot of damage beneath it, right? So it could be that it exploded as well. But what's for sure is, at least from the reports that we've had from the ground in Lebanon, is that it was a multi-staged attack, not just one attack in the apartment, because some civilians are dead. Now, if you restrict the casualties to Hamas, it's still serious. It's not that if it's something easy. But you're talking about civilian casualties. So if it's civilian casualties involved, that means Israel is not just targeting Hamas, although any attack, obviously, with any country that respects itself, any assassination that happens on an independent sovereign country must be met with severe retaliation. Would anyone allow any assassination attempt happening in Israel or any other country? Why is it acceptable in the Arab countries around Israel? Are they that low on dignity? Do you know what I mean? But saying that, there will most likely be a response. In the next coming hours, we will know exactly where the response is going to be, how is it going to come. It might not be all out, and people might be waiting for Hassan Nasrallah's speech tomorrow to check if it's going to be an all-out war or not. So far, what we've heard so far is that the advisor for Ayatollah Khamenei, he said that Washington and its allies, he didn't even mention Israel, he said Washington and its allies, they must know that the resistance groups, not just Hamas again, will retaliate in the appropriate manner, right? That's what he said. We've had a couple of reports of some missile launches from Gaza, not on a massive scale, but obviously reports keep coming up very quickly, like by the minute you have things. But if it's an all-out response, the level of it, are we seeing a different stage to the war? We're going to know that potentially in the next few hours tonight or the next 24 hours, particularly when it comes to the speech of Hassan Nasrallah from Hezbollah. Now, I'll give you the time to start asking questions. Please restrict it to one question per person so we can give each person equal time. I'm going to go back to what you've said previously. If anyone has a question, start it from now, please. Did they... I have a question from Igor saying, how did they get access to the CCTVs? Is it regarding the CCTVs in Lebanon? There was a CCTV confirming, showing the attack. So we saw it happening in the southern suburb. Israel pulled IDF from Gaza to move them to Lebanon border. They are anticipating a big response. They probably covered it up with the fact that they're going to support the economy and then moving them to Lebanon. Yeah, that's right, because they want to cover up the mess that they did in Gaza and their massive failure, and they want to run away somehow. Who got attacked where? Saleh al-Aruri, the deputy leader of Hamas's political bureau, was assassinated with 3 other Hamas members in the southern suburb of Beirut, and there were also civilian casualties. Do you think the missile was somehow linked to his mobile phone? That's Mayra Machado Frota. Maybe. Yeah, could be. Starlink. I'm not sure. Any other questions? What do you think about retracting the IDF from Gaza? Well, they've had a series of retractions from Gaza. If you recall, a couple of months ago, they already, before the temporary ceasefire ended, they withdrew 70,000 soldiers. After the temporary ceasefire, they withdrew thousands of other soldiers. You've had people fleeing the war. There's unwillingness to fight. It's a complete mess. They have no other achievement but punishing the civilian population. It's an ethnic cleansing implementation. They're not fighting Hamas or anything. They know they can't beat Hamas. They just want to force the Gazans out, and they continuously reiterate it. But after seeing the persistence and faith of the Palestinian people of Gaza and them challenging Israel and not wanting to leave Gaza for anyone, they're seeing that they're failing. So with the confirmed loss in Gaza, they want an image of victory. I spoke about this previously. That's why they showed you, we attacked Khan Yunis, we attacked Yahya Sinwar's house, then they had his shoe. They found out that it's cleaner than their souls, like I said. And they were, Hanukkah or whatever, these religious things that they've done in Gaza to kind of show a sign of victory. This could be, again, this assassination could be their biggest step down the ladder to tell their population, look, we struck Saleh al-Aruri, one of the main people in charge of this whole operation, and, sell it to the public, even though it's completely stupid, and anyone with very basic knowledge and intelligence understands that assassinating people doesn't work. They've assassinated the spiritual leaders of Hamas. They've assassinated historical figures. It only made them stronger. And what they've done in Gaza is created a new generation full of love for vengeance and full of massive hatred to Israel, that they would swallow it if they were allowed to do that. So it's not going to work. Do you think South Africa's genocide case will make any difference? Probably, because for the first time we're seeing that Israel's worried. And when you see that Israel's worried, that means something could potentially work. They just declared that they're going to send their own legal team to fight the case against them in the international courts. What do you think the Israeli troops has drawn back? Is it frustration or conspiracy? From Majid Akhtar Ansari. It could be part of the plan to completely end the war, and they're just trying to cover it in a different manner. Again, it could be a cover for them going up to the north, but again, what are they going to do in the north? If they couldn't succeed in Gaza with all of that bombardment, right? What are they going to do in Lebanon? They're more advanced than Hamas. They're not 1 ounce less ruthless and strong than them. They have the same spirit of fighting, but with much more military capability. What are they going to do with them? They will eat them alive. They've annihilated them in 2006. We were hearing stories from Israeli soldiers returning from battlefields saying they fought ghosts. I personally know someone who was blown to pieces and came back in a coffin in pieces, right? These were the stories from Lebanon. So what are they going to do? Go back to fight ghosts and get back in pieces? I don't think so. And they're frustrated and they refuse, and there's unwillingness to serve in the army. Don't forget all of these things. There's a division in the army as well. Anne-Mary Fuller, are supplies getting into any part of Gaza? Yes, because they're introducing new weapons every single day. Manu, will the war be on Israel's soil, Golan Heights, or Lebanon? If Israel goes on an all-out war in Lebanon, Hezbollah can be in Al Jalil, the whole Galilee region, within hours. But do you think Hamas will allow the Palestinian to move? Humayra Bana, as in move what? Move from Gaza? If that's the case, then listen, the population won't move. Forget who's selling the idea that they want to move. They had the option to, in many cases. They didn't. And in fact, they're going back to their destroyed homes, risking their lives in the north and getting killed on the way. So they're not going anywhere. They know how evil Israel is. Is America withdrawing from the Red Sea? If so, is it considered defeat? Akram Amin. America is withdrawing from the Mediterranean, not from the Red Sea. It's very high tense in the Red Sea, and they're having confrontations. And Iran just introduced the warship in the Red Sea, but they withdrew from the Mediterranean. I spoke about this yesterday. And the funny thing is, this assassination, came just as the U.S. ships were leaving, right? And it could also, be asking them to come back or something. Could be. What's happened to Saudi? They're busy in Riyadh season, enjoying the boxing season and football and drinking. How much longer will Netanyahu last? When this war finishes, it's his end. What about the Iranian warships sailing into the Red Sea to defend the Houthis? Blank stars. Yes. Fight back. Nobody, Elon Musk, was in Pisrahel and promised to help. He went to Israel to probably try and save X. I don't think Elon Musk is in a position to be blackmailed too much. Ashkiro Moxie, what do you think Israel will plan to Gaza in the next 2 years when they will stop bombing them this time? The plan of Gaza has been a plan since 50 years ago, and they just took it out of the drawer now because of the 7th of October attacks. They want to expel all of the Gazan population. They want to expel all of the population from the West Bank to have what they call a pure Jewish state. This is what they're calling it. This current government, they're saying it out loud. Bezalel Smotrich calls for expelling all of the population. He said previously that Ben Gurion made a mistake by not forcing us out in 1948, that he didn't finish the job. And this is the tone from Israel. It's blatant apartheid, yet the blind mainstream media and the corrupt, vile, and evil people defending this genocide don't mention this to you. And they debate genocide. Imagine how vile they are as individuals. They start debating the word genocide, the attempt to ethnically cleanse people based on racial and religious background. This is what Israel's doing and saying it's doing. Yet the vile, low Zionist puppets won't dare say that to you. Vile individuals. So this is what Israel's actually doing and saying that it's going to do. How will the assassination affect the Hamas guys in Gaza? It doesn't affect their Gaza. It doesn't affect Gaza. I heard Abu Ubaida also came out and fight. Abu Ubaida is a spokesperson. He's not there. I don't think he does the battlefield stuff. He could be, but I think he's just a spokesperson mainly to release statements. Patricia, do you think there will be a large bombardment on Gaza now again that the soldiers are moving out? I'm not sure how linked that is, because they were bombing while they were there, and I think there was pressure on them not to have the same level of intense bombardment that they had in the initial phase of the war. Obviously, you can expect anything from this genocidal death cult. You're talking about insane, satanic people, death cult individuals full of stupid beliefs who have actual force. You're talking about a recipe for disaster, so anything can happen. And the world is not stopping them. They're clapping for them and defending them. And when I say the world, I mean the corrupt political elite, corrupt political and corporate elite in the world. Still Waters Night Sky, would Saudi Qatar get involved in any way post the attack in Beirut? What could be their stance? I don't think Saudi Arabia and Qatar will ever get involved militarily. They're not in a position to. Qatar houses some of the biggest military air force base for America, for the United States and the Middle East, and Saudi has many bases. FBI Ship UK. Apart from Iran, do you see any possibility of decisive action from any other Muslim country? I don't have faith in any other Muslim country. I think the only countries that showed they would intervene militarily without being attacked directly, okay, are Iran, Yemen, and Lebanon, and some of the Iraqi resistance movements. Fidya Temple, how is it possible to Lebanon? We have no air defense. I know the air defenses are weak, but Hezbollah has more advanced air defenses than Hamas. They have, I think they borrowed something from Syria. There were reports that Russia gave them a battery, an air defense battery that can be basically be loaded on a truck. So they probably have stuff that are more sophisticated, but only time will reveal if it breaks out to an all-out war. If they go against Hezbollah full force, it's gonna get messy. Nurislav, after retracting, will there be airstrikes and drone strikes? Na'udhu billah. I think, yeah, I answered that. Are they claiming the innocent killed our human shields? Haksir. This is what they're saying. The only person using human shields is Israel. It's using its people as human shields, sending them as cannon fodder to die for pointless wars for a career politician who's corrupt and trying to get away from serving his sentence. Gameplays and trailers. I'm confused about one thing. Why is Netanyahu scared to go to jail? I mean, the whole Israelis is like Netanyahu. Even if he goes to jail, he will live happily. He does not follow USA, let alone Israel laws. Because he will spend a long time in jail. This person is a narcissist. He doesn't want to be in jail. I mean, who likes to spend time in jail? Jess Davis, where's the Turkish flotilla heading to Gaza? No updates about it leaving yet, departing. Assalamu alaikum, brother Marqab Hassan. With the Iranian warship now in the Red Sea, do you think an escalation in the Red Sea is imminent? Very potentially, yes, absolutely, because the Houthis asked everyone to prepare. Iran is sending the warship as a signal, and the coalition is clearly taking action now. Previously it was advice, and now they're actually taking action, so it could break into an all-out war. And the bizarre thing here, and this is what people should be talking about, all of this is for the sake of a genocidal apartheid state. They're going to the Red Sea to defend an apartheid regime that controls other people, and as if they are a lower grade race. Do you comprehend that? This just shows you how vile these governments are, and everyone supporting them. All they're doing, taking all of these resources, taking taxpayers' money, spending it on a death cult to save a death cult apartheid state that's committing genocide in broad daylight. This is what we should be talking about. Obviously MSM is trying to spin it as if they're trying to save the roots, right? And international trade. They haven't said that. They said they only target Israeli ships, and they have done so. But they obviously want to try and spin it like they spun the Iraq war. They fooled everyone, didn't they? Weapons of mass destruction. And the stupid sheeple were clapping for them, right? Tony Blair was granted a knighthood. Sufyan Ibrahim, would there be a response from the Lebanese government for infringing on its sovereignty? Do you think the Lebanese government has any strength? The only strength in Lebanon is Hezbollah. Why Lebanon don't have air defense system? Because air defense systems are banned for independent Arab and Muslim nations, isn't it? Rizalai Sai, if you say Nasrallah must give a speech tomorrow, how is it possible that Israel knew Hamas commander was there? They have intelligence. Their arrogance amazes me. Yes. Will more nations join South Africa? Ari Magoo. There are private other cases. Yes, there are cases being taken. One of them is a French guy. Thank you very much for your contribution. Anyone who contributed, thank you so much for this. With your stickers and super thanks. Thanks a lot. So there are other cases, other private cases going apart from South. They actually started before South Africa, but South Africa is significant. I'll hopefully talk about it one day. Question: do you think the response will be targeted assassination of a comparable official? Could be, maybe. It happened before. What will happen in the West Bank? Ebola 2.0. It's escalating. I mean, Israel said it's the biggest escalation since Operation Defensive Shield. So the West Bank is very, very tense. Is the north of Israel where the Jewish people are already mad at Netanyahu? Many parts of Israel are mad at Netanyahu. The people who were expelled from their homes in Otif Gaza, areas surrounding Gaza. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that. They are mad at him because it's still not safe to go back, and he hasn't eliminated Hamas like he said. And the people from the north are mad at him because all they're doing is paying lip service for the population. They're not actually doing anything of substance. And the resistance movements are humiliating Israel. They're putting their heads in the dirt. They're annihilating them. Is Israel is Israel realistically capable to go to war with Hezbollah? They are capable of going to war with Hezbollah. But what are going to be the aims of the war? The same aims of the war of Gaza. We want to eliminate Hezbollah, which will be an embarrassment again. From the beginning of the war, I said this. They wrote their destiny when they said we're going to demolish Hamas, because they said that from 2008 when Hamas were much weaker and they failed and they had to change the war objective at the time to making them weaker, right? This is what they did, C.P. Livni and Olmert at the time. What are they going to do? Say we're going to demolish Hezbollah? They're not going to demolish Hezbollah. They can't do it. Why Iran not join war? Miller Guy Dragon. Because Iran joining the war as a country officially has legal implications and political implications. When they support through their allies, they're kind of exempt from such repercussions. What are the implications of Israel when they go to the ICC on the 11th? Will there be like trial or something? Apparently there's multiple stages. There's multiple stages to it. Let me check if we have any more questions before we finish. Abu Ubaidah in Qatar? No, Abu Ubaidah is not in Qatar. I missed out on the soldiers moving out. Why are they moving out? Again, because Israel withdraws forces on a regular basis. Okay, let me see if I have any more questions. If anyone has any, let me answer them quickly before we wrap up, guys. What does Hezbollah mean? The party of God. What do you think of Egypt will do if they're going to go over with the Philadelphia zone? If the Egyptian army goes into a full-scale war with Israel, head-to-head, they will obliterate Israel. Do you think the Taliban will join the war? I don't think so. They're very far away. Vote him out as a PM, Muhammad Rumzi. It doesn't work like that politically in Israel. Why is Israel attacking Lebanon? Because they like attacking everyone. They're a death cult. They like attacking. They live on attacking other nations. TK421, would Syria support Hezbollah after Hezbollah supported the Damascus? They always support them. Syria always supports Hezbollah. That doesn't mean they're going to enter the war militarily with Israel on their behalf or with them if they join the war. But they've always been a lifeline, especially the eastern parts, the Baalbek area, to support Hezbollah. Zain Muhammad, thank you so much. Okay, Daniela, thank you very much, dear. Beautiful day, Amazon unboxing. Thank you so much. Edra Santos, thank you very much. A&A team, thank you very much. Sam, what do you think? Will the Taliban join the war? I already answered that. They're not going to be. I don't think any Taliban will be joining the war. I mean, it will be limited. What kind of capabilities do they have to join the war? I don't think so. Probably some logistical support from abroad or something. Are Algeria supporting Palestine? Mimi London. They are. I'm not sure how much from a military perspective, but they do politically very much. The Algerian people very much love Palestine. Okay, guys, if you saw any questions asked previously, if you wouldn't mind just not repeating them, please, so we can get on to the actual questions, and make sure to keep it one by one, so we won't be too long. What in the world are the Arab countries doing? Celebrating the new year. Can you see Egypt or Jordan joining the war against Israel? Smokey. If they are attacked directly, each nation cares for itself. Joe Public, thank you very much. Do you think offshore oil and gas are a priority? Yes, because they gave them contracts to explore in the second week of the war. What happened to the Kfir force? They're being beaten. That's what's happening to them, to say the least. What do you think the voluntary migration of Gaza? There is no such thing as voluntary migration. There's an ethnic cleansing campaign happening in front of the world's eyes, but they're trying to sugarcoat it. What do you mean willful migration? These people lived in their countries and they're already refugees in Gaza who were expelled from their lands in 1948 and 1967. What do they mean, these people, willful migration? The only, not willful, but forced migration that will happen is for any apartheid supporter who supports the genocide of the Palestinian people. These people are going to be the ones who will have a forced migration back to where they came from. Sharif, thank you so much, brother. Any other questions, guys? I'm just browsing through here. Why will Israel try to starve out Gaza? Yes, they're actually doing it. Hijabi girl by design, can't there be weapons given to the Palestinian general population to defend themselves? It depends where. If you're talking about the West Bank, there's very tight security over there. But there are still people who are armed. And in Gaza, you have the resistance. What time will you be on every day? Live streams are not usual. I just decided to do a live stream today because of the level of developments, and just I thought if you guys wanted me to answer any questions, I'll be with you because there's so many things happening. Puff to smoke. Erdogan in Egypt must be embarrassed at this point. How much longer can they hold the people with continuous cheap talking points? There's a that's a very good argument. I think, and I said it before, not an ounce of blood is worth waiting for. Not 1 ounce of blood. Naz, thank you very much, dear. Thank you so much. Do you think Israel is capable of occupying southern Lebanon for another 50 years as they claim they can? The only place they can occupy Israel is their toilets in their home. That's what they can occupy. Does Egypt allow Hamas to restock weapons through the Rafah border? Undercover, yes. What is Kuwait's position? Officially, again, official support, lots of lip service, but we don't see no action. Once this is over, will there be Oslo Accord? Not with the current Israeli government and with the current climate. I don't think there will be any repeat of Oslo because there is unwillingness from Israel. People need to understand Israel doesn't want peace. The only person who was about to make peace was Yitzhak Rabin. He was assassinated. They thrive on hate and wars. This is how they've been. What people should call now inside Israel, people need to freaking brave up and say we need to dismantle this apartheid death cult once and for all. International community must force Israel to end its apartheid regime and have a one-state solution where Jewish, Arab, Muslim, Christian people can live in freely. Supremacists with wishful thinking and messianic ambitions, they can be kicked off to a small island where they can declare their state and use their own supremacy on themselves. Where Hamas get the weapon, Miller? They get it from multiple places, and they also produce weapons. Black churches in America are now supporting Palestine. What impact do you think that will have? Well, it's good that they woke up, Any church or mosque or any religious group or anyone waking up now. Sabah al khair, as we say in Arabic. Good morning. Have you not been seeing the genocide? Calling these people God's chosen people? More likely Satan's chosen people. Good that people are waking up. It's nice. But again, it's good for the awareness. But have you not been seeing what's been happening for the past 3 months? People getting killed? And no offense meant for anyone here. Are you Palestinian? Yes, I am. Is aid going in Gaza? Yes, in limited amounts. Could you tell us more about... my next topic. Yes, please. I'm not going to be talking too much here. It's just questions about the topic today. Sorry. Do you think PA and Mahmoud Abbas is finished? They have been finished. They're just, playing a small role. Collab, can you read my comments? I can, but I haven't seen any question. I'm just answering questions, guys, just to keep it up and keep answering questions as quickly as possible. Hamas having a two-state solution, Jihan, will have fight one and only one Palestine state without the existence of Israel. Hamas will agree to temporarily have a two-state solution. They already declared that, and they're willing to work on the umbrella of the PLO to have a temporary two-state solution. But Hamas, I don't think ideologically will ever give up the right to return and things like that. I mean, they've had this problem even with some of the PLO movements, even though Mahmoud Abbas, the current president, he said, I'm happy not to go back to Safad, where he was originally from and expelled in 1948 territories. But I think Hamas, their main source of popularity is the fact that they haven't given up national historical rights, and no one has the right, no political movement, neither Hamas nor anyone else have any right to give up primarily the right to return of refugees. And I don't think they will, but I'm saying in general, no one has the right to speak on Palestinian refugees' behalf but themselves. They have a historical right to return to their land, wherever they came from, and they will. Thank you so much for anyone supporting. I'm sorry if I'm not gonna read all of the comments. It's just I'm gonna go through the questions. Thank you for anyone who's contributing. Omar Zaqoud, do you think Palestinians can go back in our lifetime? Yes, they will. I firmly believe so. Ebola, what about Algerian government? Guys, please restrict it to one. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be a pain, but one question a person so we can give equal opportunities for everyone. One state, yes. Next question. Let me see if there's another question. What is Islamic supremacy? What is the impact about the Zionist economy now, Mahmoud? Very bad, very, very bad. Israel it lost at least 60 billion officially, but I think they lost more. Chris Eldridge, Palestinians in the West Bank seem to be alone. There is no chance of their relief. Unfortunately, you have the security forces of the Palestinian Authority, you know, collaborating with Israel. They're not protecting anyone. Israel can roam around in the West Bank and do whatever they like, targeted assassinations, harassment, everything. It's shambolic. And it just proves where we've reached from with 30 years of negotiations in the West Bank and in Gaza, where at least people had their independence. Do you think Russia can save Syria for real instead of preserving for Israel love story as things escalate? That's from Dudush Siddiqui. I think Russia will stand with Syria. They're very important for them. I'm not living in Israel at the moment. I was born there. Will Syria ever make a move claiming the Golan Heights? It depends on the deals that they made with Israel. How did Syria give up the Golan Heights? Remember, in 1973, when the war broke out, Hafez al-Assad had to ask help from Saddam Hussein, and people need to remember that. It was Saddam Hussein who saved part of the Golan Heights. He sent, I think it was 6 brigades at the time. They went down. They obviously protected Damascus because Israel was going to Damascus. They were looking at Tiberias from the Golan Heights, and they had the capacity to go and recapture all of the Golan Heights, by the way. After Egypt, obviously they were taking Sinai. It could have finished differently, but clearly there was a deal because the Syrian regime at the time asked their forces to retract. And Saddam and his army were very pissed off. So it depends on the undercover deals between all of them, right? So Syria has played a role in supporting and housing the resistance, right? But that doesn't mean they had agreements with other people. And obviously you have the civil war and, you know, the democracy and human rights cases over there. But if will they go in all-out war or to recapture? It really depends on the type of deals and the situation and the dynamics of it. Kirk, do you think that Erdogan is a serious helping or is he just posing? Look, lots of lip service so far. I mean, financial support, aid, you know, supporting the resistance, you know. But I mean, in the beginning of the war, he said we are willing to intervene militarily. Why say that if you're not going to do it? I would rather people not say than say something and expect, and people expect something from them. Will the West Bank be liberated? Look, there is no two-state solution. The situation is so tough at the moment. It's either an all-out solution or no solution. Either apartheid Israel or no apartheid Israel. That's the solution. Mahmoud, how can you help Palestine? By doing what you do, talking, speaking, posting. All of this is important. Don't underestimate anything that you do. Hamas released casualty numbers, not of their fighters. Okay. Let me see if we have another question. What do you think Nasrallah or Hezbollah will say tomorrow? That's no to apartheid. Remember, it was a pre-planned speech for Nasrallah. It's not like it's a special speech. He will probably reiterate a couple of things that were due in his original speech. And we might see last-minute amendments to do with the assassination of Saleh al-Aruri. But if he wants to open it up completely, he has to get the authorization from Iran as well. Don't forget that. Okay. Let me see if you have any. Okay, so that's it. No more questions. Last question, guys, and we'll end it here, please. Sorry if I couldn't take any more questions. We can make another live stream, or you can post the questions, then I can answer them later on, because this video will be saved on YouTube. If Hezbollah wins, what do you think would happen to Israel? It would continue the road of crumbling, and it will eventually crumble as an apartheid state, because injustice does not last forever. Thank you so much, guys. I'm sorry if I didn't read through all of the messages, but I had to cut to the point and just answer as many questions as I can. Thank you very much for being with me and for your contribution. And let's keep working to hopefully achieve a peaceful solution for everyone in Palestine. Thank you so much. This video will be saved, so it will have the same, I'll keep the same thumbnail. And if any of you missed it and have any questions, post it, and I'll do my best to answer all of your questions. Thank you very, very much. I wish you have a wonderful rest of the evening and rest of the week. Stay safe, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Much love. Bye.